Hey friends, welcome back to Homemade Homestead and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're doing everything pumpkin. So today I'm going to share with you a bunch of different family-friendly breakfast recipes. I love to make these up in the fall. They're freezer-friendly. So let's just get right into making these meals. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our own pumpkin pie spice. I bought this little jar of pumpkin pie spice a few years ago and it was about $3. I was shocked at how expensive this little bottle was. And once I finished using it, I looked at the ingredients and I noticed like cinnamon is the very first ingredient and other ingredients that I already have on hand. So first we're going to mix up some homemade pumpkin pie spice. So the first spice we're gonna need is some ground cinnamon. I love ground cinnamon from Costco. It's very nice and strong. You get a good bang for your buck. This whole container was only $3. The next is we're gonna use some ground ginger. Then we're gonna use some ground nutmeg, some ground cloves. Make sure it's the ground one, you don't want the whole cloves. And then lastly, allspice. Some recipes leave out allspice, but I really enjoy the flavor of it, so I'm gonna add it in. We're gonna start with 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Then I'm gonna go in with 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. I love the smell of ginger. Do you guys like ginger tea? Because I'm a huge fan of ginger. 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 1.5 teaspoons of allspice. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. If you guys like a spice better than the other, increase it or change it up, leave one out if you don't like something. That's the great thing about making stuff at home is you can tailor it to what you enjoy. I'm just gonna whisk them all together. All right, and one other way that you can save money is actually roasting your own pumpkins to make your own pumpkin puree. So I actually grew these. Well, I didn't grow them, but they were grown in our garden. We planted them and the creator grew them. So we have 3 of these pumpkin pie pumpkins, I think is what they're called. And we are going to roast these in our oven. So first I'm going to cut these pumpkins in half, and don't throw away your seeds because you could either grow these seeds if they're from your own garden. It's easy to just give them a good rinse, let them dry out, and you have seeds for next year. Or you can roast them in your hot oven and make your own pumpkin seeds to eat. Throw a little salt on there and they are scrumptious. Seeds are always so amazing to me. Like we plant one seed and we get a whole plant, and even on that one plant could be 2, 3, 4 pumpkins, and in each of those pumpkins there can be hundreds of seeds. It's just amazing how creation works. Now that the pumpkins are all scooped out, you can rub some oil on these, but because we're gonna use them in sweet stuff, I'm not going to, but I am gonna put them cut side down, pop them in a 400-degree preheated oven and bake them for about, I'm gonna start with 30 minutes because these are small. You want them to be nice and soft. So I ended up cooking these pumpkins for about 45 minutes at the 400 degrees, and you saw that they were just fork tender. I'm gonna let them cool a little bit and then scoop them out, put them in my food processor and blend them up. Again, you do not have to do this. You could totally use canned pumpkin. It's just I had these, I don't want them to go bad, so why not utilize what we have? So those 2 little pumpkins gave me 2 cups. So now we can use this in our recipes. First, let's make up some coffee though. So my first recipe is pumpkin spice coffee. It's a great way to start your morning, and that way you don't have to go to a fancy coffee shop. You can make it at home. So I like to fill up my coffee pot first with my filter and the desired amount of coffee that I want. I'm doing a full pot, and then I also filled my water up. And to my coffee, I'm gonna take my homemade pumpkin pie spice. I'm a dork and I like to refill my container of the store-bought stuff. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. If you want it stronger or a little bit weaker, you can add how much you like of this. Yeah. I do like a really good flavor of pumpkin pie spice in my coffee. I mean, if I'm gonna have pumpkin pie coffee, I wanna definitely make it so I know it's in there, right? Oh, there's a little lump, okay. I like to stir it into my coffee. I feel like it just flows better through the coffee pot or the coffee maker, and then I just set it to go like normal. Oh, I wish you guys could smell the house right now. It smells so good. I like a little dollop of whipping cream. Well, not really a dollop, just like a little spoonful of whipping cream. And then I like a little sprinkle of some stevia. But fix it up however you would like your coffee, with whatever cream, sugar you like. We're gonna make some pumpkin spice oatmeal right in our Instant Pot. These are gonna be steel cut oats. First, I'm gonna start with 4 cups of water. I'm gonna use almond milk, we just prefer it, and this is vanilla almond milk. 2 cups of almond milk in here. Then we're gonna go in with 1 cup of our pumpkin puree that we just made, or you can totally use canned pumpkin, that's just fine too. I'm gonna do a splash of our homemade vanilla. If you haven't checked out that video yet, I'll leave a link right above. I've been enjoying this in a lot of my baking lately. I'm gonna do a little sprinkle of salt. And now we're gonna utilize our pumpkin pie spice. I'm gonna go in with 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. Wow, it smells so good already. I'm going to go in with 2 cups of my steel cut oats. Now I'm just gonna give this a really good stir. Make sure that pumpkin puree is all mixed in. I'm not gonna add any sweetener. You're welcome to. You could add maple syrup, some honey, brown sugar, white sugar, whatever you like. I'm gonna leave it out for now, and I'm gonna let each individual person add it in when we're done. I'm gonna make sure this is set to sealing. I'm gonna go manual, high pressure for 5 minutes. I'm gonna let it do a natural pressure release. You can wait for your pin to fall down, and then you know that it has done its releasing. So my pin dropped down, took around a half an hour. Oh, that looks so good and creamy. This would be delicious with some walnuts on top. You know what, let's do that. I think I have some walnuts. I'm gonna just top it with a little bit of maple syrup. Doesn't that look scrumptious? For the next recipe, we're gonna make some homemade pumpkin French toast. Oh my goodness. Get ready for this one, it's so good. All right, so in my bowl here, I have 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. Again, you can just use the store-bought kind if you would like. And to this, I'm gonna add in my eggs. I'm going to add in 4 large eggs, and I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of almond milk. You could use regular cow's milk. I can't find my 1/2 cupper right now, so I'm gonna do 2 1/4 cups. We're also gonna add in 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. So I just packed that pretty tightly. There's 1/4 cup. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of this pumpkin pie spice that we made earlier. Add in a splash of our vanilla. Again, this is homemade. I have the video linked up above for you in the iCards, or I can put it down in the description too for you. Just gonna give this a really good stir. If you want, you can even pull out your immersion blender if you have one of those and like zhuzh it. That gets it really nice and incorporated, but this looks pretty good. My cinnamon's not just floating on top, so I like that. Okay. So now I have my skillet. It's heated up to about 350 degrees. I have some Texas toast. It's a nice thick bread. So I'm going to just dip my bread in here, flip it over, get it really drenched, and go right on there. Oh, that's a good sound. We have some delicious French toast here. Just serve it up with some maple syrup right over top. Oh, doesn't that look so good? I just spilled maple syrup all on the floor. All right, next we're gonna make some pumpkin pancakes. These are a great breakfast to have if you don't wanna make French toast, but you have these ingredients to whip it up. It's really delicious, super easy. Let's just throw it together and get these cooking. So first here in my bowl, I have a cup and a half of, I'm using whole wheat flour, but you could totally use white flour. To that, I'm gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of some salt. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Next, I added in 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. You can definitely add more, less, whatever you like. I'm gonna just give this a little stir to get those dry ingredients all nicely incorporated together. Now you can do this next part in a separate bowl, but I'm just gonna add it right in here. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a splash of vanilla, 1/2 cup of our pumpkin puree that we made earlier. And then I have a cup of what they call for buttermilk, but I never have buttermilk on hand. So I always do a splash of lemon juice and then fill it up to the 1 cup line with milk. I'm gonna add that in. And then 1 large egg, but I am dealing with medium eggs, so I'm gonna add 2 of these medium eggs, and we're gonna give this a whisk. Now I've got my skillet heating up to 350 degrees. I've learned if I put a little bit of butter down first, it gives it a nice crispy crunch on the outside of the pancakes. Right, I'm seeing really good bubbles on the top, so I'm gonna give these a flip. See what they look like. Oh, nice and golden brown. I always get nervous flipping pancakes. I don't know why. Oh, they all made it. All right, and there we have some fluffy pumpkin pancakes. My kids are waiting to devour these as we speak. All right, and our last recipe I'm super excited for. These are gonna be pumpkin waffles with a cream cheese frosting. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to dive into these. So let's start with the base first, the pumpkin waffle. So in my bowl, I have 2 cups of flour. Then we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Next, I'm gonna add in our pumpkin pie spice. I'm gonna go in with 1 teaspoon. Kind of heaping. I really enjoy pumpkin pie spice. I'm sure you guys have caught on to that through this video. Then I'm gonna do a sprinkle of salt. Then I'm gonna give that a stir just to make sure that baking soda is all incorporated. Next, I'm gonna use a separate bowl and I'm going to put in 3 large eggs. But again, I'm using medium eggs, so I'm gonna go up to 4. Now I just dumped in 1 3/4 cup of milk. Now I'm gonna add in 3/4 cup of the pumpkin puree. And then we're gonna add in 1/2 cup of oil.
Mix it.
A good mix, okay?
Mix it.
Now we're gonna pour our wet into our liquid. So I have my waffle maker plugged in. I like to put it on max and it'll tell me when I'm ready. This one does just make a single round waffle. All right, my light has turned on. I'm going to pour this in. I like to push it a little bit towards the back. Oh, I already made a mess. This one thing about waffles is I always seem to make a good mess with these. Oop, I underfilled that one. Oh, that one looks so nice. Now we have our waffles. Let's make that cream cheese frosting. And I'll make sure to leave any links that I can for the recipes I'm using down below in the description box. So check that out. If you have any questions, they'll be there. So the frosting is really simple. It's only 3 or 4 ingredients if you want to throw in vanilla. But in my bowl, I have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna give this whipped up, nice and frothy. I also have 1 block of cream cheese, nice and softened. I like to pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds if it's from the fridge. And I like to move it around so then it won't have lumps in my frosting. And then we just need some powdered sugar. I'm gonna do this by taste. I'm gonna start with a couple tablespoons and go from there. I don't like my stuff overly sweet, so we'll play with that one. And then you can add some vanilla extract if you want it. Now I'm just slowly adding my whipped cream that I have whipped, and I'm gently adding it right into this cream cheese, almost like folding it in so I don't deflate it. All right, right, now I'm just gonna add a little sprinkle to start with of my powdered sugar. Oh, it looks so nice and fluffy and light. I actually love to top birthday cakes with this frosting right here. I feel like it just adds some lightness to a heavy cake. Just gonna put a dollop right on top of our waffles. And I'm gonna top it with some walnuts. Now, doesn't that just look delicious? I'm excited to dive into this one. I made it with gluten-free flour. It doesn't have to be at all. It can be made with the regular flour. So I get to enjoy this one myself. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope this inspired you to make some pumpkin spice things. Oh, I just love this time of year. And I sure enjoy pumpkin spice. I hope you guys do too. Let me know down in the comments below. I love chatting with you guys. What are your favorite things to cook in the fall time? As it's getting colder, I love to bake. So I'm hoping soon that I'll make another bake with me. If you guys want to see that, let me know down below too. I hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye now. So this frosting on the waffles just takes these waffles to another level. So good.